Jacob Rudner. Jacob runs covers the Florida Gators for 24/7 Sports and went to ASU, just like Ricky Pearsall. You like the journalism, Ricky Pearsall. So thank you. Where are you right now?
Gainesville, Florida. It's Gainesville, Florida.
And it's 12:10 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you.
Of course. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So Niner fans are very, they don't know what to think. They think maybe the Niners wanted to trade back. I said earlier in the week, I like Ricky Pearsall. So I'm a little excited about this, but give us what's your reaction to the Niners taking Ricky Pearsall? What's your reaction to him going in the first round? What are the Niners getting? Just give me your initial thoughts.
Well, I would be lying if I didn't say that I was a little bit surprised to see Ricky Pearsall's name called in the first round. That being said, it is not a poor decision in my mind. I think that Ricky Pearsall is somebody who absolutely has the talent to have been a first-round selection. I think he proved that emphatically throughout his senior year when he finished 35 yards shy of a 1,000-yard season. We saw some spectacular catches. This was a guy who I think performed really well, maybe even above expectations at the NFL Combine and also at the Senior Bowl. And so a huge stock-up guy. Again, do I think that was first round coming into today? No, I didn't. But do I think it's a poor pick by the 49ers? No, I really don't. I think this is a super skilled guy who works really hard. He's a true professional, and they got a good receiver at the end of the day.
What are his best traits? Like, what would you say are his best qualities?
Well, on the field, I think it's his route running and just the headiness with which he plays football. He's extremely calculated. Everything is done with a certain level of sharpness, which I think really stands out. But off the field, I think it's his work ethic. This is a guy who is a huge, stay after practice, catching extra balls. We used to see him at Florida practices. Everybody would go in and, hit the showers after a practice period was over. And he was out there, catching 100 extra balls, he used to say, on the jugs machine after every single practice. And he used to get in extra work, studying film with the quarterbacks and being in the room, teaching younger guys and really being an instrumental part of the operation outside of just the things that made him, a first-round talent on the field. And so I think that the blend of those things are a real standout, and it has gotten him to where he is now today.
I didn't pull up his measurables yet, but I'm looking at what you wrote here. 10th fastest 40 at 4.41, 42-inch vert, third at his position. A lot of people probably go straight to the highlights, see the one-handed catch. He showed this at Arizona State as well. I covered the Pac-12 a lot, so I remember him at Arizona State. He's would you say a very good athlete, an excellent athlete, a pretty good athlete? What label would you put on him?
Yeah, I would go as far as to say an excellent athlete. I don't think that you jump 42 inches or run a 4.4 or low 4.4 if you're not an excellent athlete. You mentioned the one-handed catch that's kind of made him internet famous over the last several months, if you will. Those are all things to me that point towards excellent athleticism. And so I think that, this is somebody also who is quicker than I think is publicly thought of him. He's got a lot of speed in the tank. He's a really good deep ball route runner, which I don't think he gets a lot of credit for in addition to his ability to run the short yardage routes. This is an impressive overall athlete for sure.
The Niners could use punt return help, kick return help too. I mean, the new kick return rule in the NFL, we'll see, but how is he as a specialist?
We weren't sure. That was a good question coming into last season, and I think he answered in a really positive way. We saw some explosiveness in the punt game. Like I said before, this is a guy who has really good field vision and makes wise decisions, and I think that translated well for him as a punt returner. We didn't really get a look at him as a kick returner, although I do think that the skills are pretty applicable, across those two disciplines. And so I do think that he's a capable special teams player at the NFL level. I think it's a way that he's going to be able to make an impact early outside of just playing on offense. And that was something that he talked about at Florida Pro Day. He said that there are a lot of teams that sat him down and said, Ricky, we really love you as a wide receiver and you've put a lot on tape. But if we're going to draft you, it's going to come with special teams responsibilities. And so I think that the 49ers were probably among a group of teams that viewed him as a candidate to be a specialist, whether that is punt and kick or just punt. And he did show the ability to be able to handle those roles.
The last time the Niners took a receiver in the first round, it was Brandon Ayuk, who played for Herm. And John Lynch and Herm Edwards have a very good relationship. So I do wonder if John Lynch reached out to Herm Edwards again on this Pearsall pick. Were you around him at ASU as well, or were you at Florida and then he came to Florida?
Yeah, I actually covered Ricky's entire collegiate career from the day that
Wow.
he stepped on campus at Arizona State until he left as a senior at Florida. I was there for the entire thing. I moved to Florida, I think it was 4 months before Ricky Pearsall transferred to Florida. So I've been there every step of the way with this guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if Herm Edwards had a say in this. He has always been kind of a champion for Ricky Pearsall and has been very adamant that he was underrated out of high school. Somebody that Arizona State offered as a lowly ranked recruit. It was a mid 3-star, somebody who didn't really have a lot of Division I attention, and he camped at Florida. And Herm Edwards, I guess, told his coaching staff he's faster than people are giving him credit for. He's more athletic, and his career has taken off from there. So Herm Edwards and Billy Napier have been big believers in Ricky Pearsall for a long time.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, he caught 7 balls. I remember you were probably there at Michigan State when Jane Daniels went and beat Michigan State. That team, Ayuk led them in receptions. Everybody's seen the clip out here, at least the clip of Ayuk catching the ball from Jane Daniels over Diamador Lenore, who's a 49er, had made the rounds again this week. And we'll see. I think tomorrow there'll be a lot of Ayuk talk because Jane Daniels is in Washington and Adam Peters is the GM there now, and Washington has 2 early second-round picks tomorrow. So people are going to, talk about whether or not Ayuk, might get traded there. But one of the best things Ayuk does is he blocks. And to play receiver for Kyle Shanahan, you have to block. Is that a part? I would imagine that's a part of Ricky Pearsall's game.
Well, so it's interesting. Florida's wide receivers coach, Billy Gonzalez, has a saying that has kind of made him famous throughout his tenure, which is that if you don't block, you don't get the ball. And it's kind of a similar ideology, it seems like, in Gainesville. And so Ricky Pearsall has had to adopt that into his game. I would say that that's kind of been a feature for him for a long time. Arizona State had some really good perimeter blocking teams that ranked very highly on a national scale. Ricky Pearsall was a part of that as early as 2019 as a true freshman when he played in all 12 games. And it hasn't really been something that has faded for him. Even as he became a more prominent pass-catching receiver, prominent piece in the offenses that he was a part of, he did continue to be a very effective run blocker. He's not afraid of contact, and he is, a slightly bigger, more physical, compact body that does well in those situations for sure.
Why did he go to Florida? I mean, I think it's probably obvious, but why did he leave ASU for Florida?
He explained the decision as wanting to go and test himself in the SEC. He had other options. I think it's no secret at this point that Arizona State was kind of falling apart under Herm Edwards due to the NCAA investigation that had started around the time of his decision to transfer. And his options were essentially Utah, Oregon, and Florida. And he and his family came to the decision that we've tested the Pac-12. He had proven that he could play against that level of competition. And so he wanted to go and face what is widely believed to be the best competition in college football. And so he made the jump to the SEC, hoping to prove himself. And, clearly, as a first-round pick, I think that was a successful decision.
Was he? I mean, I would imagine he was the number one for the opposing defense last year. Was he the kind of the number one guy in the scouting report?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And he still led the team. And he led the team in catches back-to-back years, I think, right?
Catches back-to-back years, yards. He last year was 35 yards short of becoming the first 1,000-yard receiver at Florida since 2002. I honestly think that the only reason he didn't get there was because Florida's starting quarterback, Graham Mertz, suffered a season-ending injury in the 11th game of the year, and so he didn't get to have his starting quarterback in game 12 and finish just shy. But there's no doubt that this was easily Florida's best receiver and the number one guy in the passing game as a threat for opposing defenses, and he still did an excellent job despite facing teams' best players on defense.
All right, I have to thank. This is a chat here, so let's see. This was Josh Harvey. I have to thank Josh Harvey at 24/7 Sports for sharing your number with me tonight. And I don't know, there can't be a person who's covered more Ricky Pearsall than we found the guy who's covered Ricky Pearsall's entire career. Jacob, you have to come cover the Niners now. I think that's the rule.
Yeah, I feel like the Ricky Pearsall pundit. It's been a long journey, so it would only feel appropriate if I followed him again.
All right, Jacob, thank you. I appreciate it. You answered a text from a person you don't know after midnight, and then you came on. So I know the viewers and listeners really appreciate it because it was really awesome insight. And hopefully we get to talk about something soon. Maybe we'll take another Gator and I'll hit you up again. But thanks for making time, man. To read more about Ricky and some of what Jacob wrote, go to 24/7 Sports, Swamp 24/7. What's the direct Gator page? What's the address to the direct Gator page?
You nailed it. It's swamp247.com is where you can find it.
Where'd you grow up, Jacob?
Los Angeles.
Yeah, come on, man. Come back west.
You're telling me. I would love it.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your Friday morning.
Appreciate it, guy. Thank you.